Hi, this is the Mysterious Mystery. Yes, I'm not dead. I have just been, well, a lot of things. I was depressed for a while, and I just didn't feel like making a video. I actually came up with a bunch of topics, but I just didn't do them. But I'm gonna do this one. It's I'm Not Starfire by, what's the name? Mariko Tamaki, and art done by Yoshitiya. Probably got that second one really off. Anyway, so I have a handful of thoughts on the story and all that. It's not like it was bad. I'm not gonna say it's not bad. I'm not gonna say it's interesting either. It was just, how do I put this? It's not bad enough to be bad. It's not cringy enough to be pure cringe. It's not good enough to really stand on its own. It's just incredibly mediocre. It might be the most mediocre graphic novel comic book I've ever read in my life. Like, Gotham High was just awful, and You Showed Me the Ocean was just boring, and with this is just a special kind of mediocre. I just have to talk about it. Alright, so it starts off with this person called Mandy Anderson, who is Starfire's daughter. Who's the biological father? It's a question that's never answered in the story. And honestly, I feel like it should be at least addressed, but it never is. Anyway, so Mandy is a goth, but I wouldn't really call her a goth. She just has dark hair and she's let's just call her frumpy, because she's not fat enough to be cold. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, she's a frumpy, moody teenager. I'm guessing since we're talking about college in this graphic novel, she's around 17. So they do like the basic intro, oh, I'm a kid of a superhero, and it's all I've ever been. And I guess she at some point felt some major disconnect from her mom, and her mom, even though Starfire is shown to, still talk to her and care about her and like go over way to still have dinner with her despite, still being an active superhero. Yeah, it's just like Mandy's just, very closed off. And Starfire can't really, I guess she doesn't have the time to like really try to make any real avenues there on that front. Like, try to figure out what's going on. It's not like she's just sitting by passively, but yeah. Anyway, so she has a friend called Lincoln. He is a Vietnamese American. He is an anarchist, and yeah. That's pretty much all we know about him, but he doesn't seem very anarchist-like. I guess he's like modern-day anarchist, not old-school anarchist. Anyway, so there's a few panels I want to talk about, like one where she's like talking to the guidance counselor, and they're trying to figure out a plan for her, and she says, I'm not going to college. They said college is the next step, and she's like saying, it's stupid, I don't need to go. I'm like, okay, yeah, you don't really need to go to college. There are other things to do, but I figured she would have some other plan or something. So after she leaves guidance counselor, after she talks to her friend Lincoln, he's poking fun at her, but in the way only a friend can. And we kind of go a bit into their background. There's this people called the Teen Titans Fan Club. They are nice to her, but nice in the way of like, oh, I want to know more about your mom, and your mom is the only person, They're like faux nice to her. So she mostly ignores them, but honestly, I feel like if she just told them to back off, they probably would. I don't know. Mandy's really weird. Not like weird as in, well, she's odd. Well, she is that, but like weird as in she won't really stand up for herself. If you read the book, which I don't recommend you do, through pretty much each time through there's a serious conflict or some things she could just easily like stand up for herself, say something like any kid would or teenager would after a certain point, but she just kind of walks away or storms off. I think this is like some type of anxiety thing. She like it's clear, you can pretty much clearly tell she's bundling up all her emotions, and it's not in a healthy way. So pretty much the reason Lincoln's her friend is because he doesn't really care about any of that stuff. Alright, but back to the point. So Mandy's plan for the future is she's going to go to France. She doesn't know anything about France. She doesn't even speak French. And they do this kind of imagining thing where she's like in France and it's all those mime shirts. But those like red scarves, and the bread and the wine and the coffee. I'm like, okay, so she has no idea what France is like or what she's even trying to expect from France. But there is something very interesting, I think, that I'm going to read aloud in this panel that I think should be acknowledged, and it's kind of the overall point of this story. Sorry, I thought I heard something for a second. It says, French people are sophisticated. They read and eat pastries, and more importantly, French people don't have superheroes. There's no way they're going to care about Starfire. Several things about that statement. One, I'm pretty sure there are multiple European-based superheroes, but that's not the point. The point is Starfire. Mandy is a 17-year-old girl who's never really related to her mother in any meaningful way. Because of her constantly having to go to space to fight alien threats and all this other stuff and going around the world saving stuff and being pretty much just a full-time celebrity, she's not always around as much as I'm guessing she would want to be. And since they don't and like, at first I was thinking, is this kid like Dick Grayson's? But yeah, there's no way this is Dick Grayson, Nightwing's kid. I don't know who it is. Someone named Anderson, clearly, but well, someone with the last name of Anderson at least. But yeah. So it's what she wants is clearly some form of approval from her mother, or some type of, relationship with her mother that she currently doesn't have. And you can tell that it's pretty obvious, but she refuses to ask any personal intrusive questions. It's later revealed in the book that I don't think she knew a thing about Tamarian culture. She knew her mother's from a different planet, but she never asked her any questions like, why did it leave? Or, do you have any relatives there? I'm like, because Starfire is explaining all this to her for the first time, I'm like, oh, she just never asked any questions. So I'm guessing she also never asked any questions about the father. And even if, or maybe the writer just didn't feel like doing it. Either way. So she starts this school project, and she gets with the popular girl. So this popular girl is going to be her love interest in the story. Her name is Claire. And I don't understand her attraction. Yeah, they draw her like kind of in pretty light. She's skinnier, and the art style is more kiddish. So, okay, what I mean is like Claire has a very outgoing, very bubbly personality. She's very nice, and she's popular, but she's not arrogant, and she's a very outgoing person, very nice person. And this seems to be very much like Starfire's personality, but minus the powers and all that. So it's kind of confusing why she likes someone who's very similar to her mother, who she's very against on multiple aspects. So, typical stuff happens. She has a flashback. Her friends poke fun at her. She's kind of being she's a bit of a creep around Claire for the first half of this book. She's like, going to her house, freaking out, blushing all down. I'm like, okay, calm down, it's your crush, but just keep calm. Anyway, so they go over to the house, they order pizza, they talk for a while, and it's revealed that she walked out her ACTs, or not ACTs, SATs, same thing, similar enough, standardized testing. Anyway, so she pretty much has a full-blown panic attack and just runs out, and she's trying to portray this as, oh yeah, I'm so cool, yeah, I don't give a crap about, college or whatever. So she's trying to talk to her, and like, she's like, hey, we can hang out a little later, and hold on a second, there's a fly here. I'm going to pause real quick so I can kill this thing. Anyway, the fly got away either way. But, back to Mandy. So, her crush, Claire, invites her over to hang out with her friends, and she immediately pretty much just storms off with no explanation. Then there's this panel where she's walking down the street and the lights turn off. Now, this is another spoiler for later in the comic, but I think they kind of ruined that in the trailer either way. Anyway, this is when Blackfire pretty much finds her. Now, this version of Blackfire isn't like the New 52 Blackfire who regrets what she was not as evil as the original continuity. and she did something horrible to Starfire and regrets that and actively tries to fix their relationship, which she succeeds at that, at least. Depends on the writer who remembers that, anyway. So, this Blackfire is straight up evil. I'm like, okay, so why didn't she just kill Mandy then? Mandy doesn't have powers, and yeah, she's all alone in the street, and Starfire's not there to protect her. She could have taken her out. Anyway, so she meets this guy named, what's called? This guy called, Doug. They call him Doug the Date. That's all. There's a little caption above his head. Anyway, so he's the date for her mom. Anyway, so this is just a quick scene. Like, she's like pretty much apparently talks about her daughter quite a bit, and she like talks her up, says she's a great student and all this other stuff. And well, Mandy's very standoffish as is normal at this point, and I think we're just like barely a quarter into the story. Christ, this is long. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead. So she's stalking Claire's Instagram. I'm gonna skip that. She's actively not trying. Well, yeah, she's actively not trying at anything. So she at sports, she skips school to go drink coffee. It's this dumb scene where she messes with these people who are a little mean to her, and this is where the first F-bomb is. It's weird. Like, this book is drawn like it should be for kids, but it's marketed towards adult. It's YA though, so teenager to young adults. But the art style's too kiddish for that. And honestly, so is a lot of things about this. I don't know. It's just not serious enough for that. Anyway, so pretty much she's having a good day. She's she's about to spend time with her crush. She's going home, and Starfire's like pretty much, oh, I'm pretty much here to help you discuss your future education plans. She's like, okay. She ordered food, brought a bunch of pamphlets from different colleges, and she wants to sit down and talk to her. So they sit down, they eat. Then Mandy just gets all upset all of a sudden. It's like, why are you digging into my life all of a sudden? She's like, I'm trying to be a responsible parent. She's like, no. Well, she's mocking the way Starfire talks in this panel. She's like, no, it's not. Because, sometimes she says that, but in this comic, they kind of pick that up and drop it. It just, eh. Anyway, so she pretty much storms off and closes her off in a room. And Starfire's like, Mandy, what's going on? He's like, nothing. It's just fine. And, yeah. I think she wants a normal life, but the truth is, I don't think she knows what she wants. Or at least, she wants a deeper and better relationship with her mother, but she's not willing to put into work into it. This is what I think I was kind of saying earlier. She's not asking any personal questions or anything. Yeah, I was a teenager too, and I closed myself off. I was a, bride for a while. Just kind of cutting yourself off. That's not good for anyone. Especially, that's not good for your family. That's not good for you or your mental health. But yeah, she's a teenager. I'll give her a pass. Anyway, then they talk about her birthdays. And pretty much you just see the Teen Titans there, kind of help celebrating her 16th birthday. That's like the last one they showed. And Starfire's just kind of like, it shows a panel, like Starfire just kind of, upset about they weren't really able to get anything done. Anyway, so there's also another figure watching her outside her window. Once again, if this is Blackfire, why not just kill her? Anyway, so she talks to Claire, and when she says she needs the house, then like all the Titans are there, and she's just like, I need you guys to get out of here. These are for my guests. They're like, okay, we're leaving. And before the Titans leave, they, talk to Claire for a bit. I think a few minutes while she's talking to her mother in the fridge. So I say fridge, I meant kitchen. Sorry, when I think of the kitchen, I think of the fridge immediately. Anyway, so they have a pretty good study session. They hang out, She remembers this one time she was at like a summer camp and she pretty much lied about what her mother does, and like the girl she liked there got all angry. Anyway, when she found out about it. Anyway, so like Claire's saying, like, well, I had a good time here. And they're both standing there awkwardly for a minute. So Claire just hugs her and walks out. And then later they find out she finds out Claire took a picture with the Titans, and she's all upset about that, which I'm like, but why? I mean, the Titans are still pretty famous, apparently, in this world. This is like, what? What, you get a chance to meet 4 superstars, and what, you're not going to take a picture in there? Anyway, so she just said, you took a picture and posted it online. She's like, what? Yeah, what's so wrong about that? And she's like, she's like, hey, you're so special, I can't take a picture at your house. And she pretty much says you're being a dick about this. She's like, Anyway, she pretty much just runs away like she keeps doing throughout all this comic. And she locks herself in a closet and has another anxiety attack and or whatever. Anyway, so pretty much Starfire finds out she skipped the SATs. And she's upset with her. She's like, I don't want to go to college. She's like, and this is actually a scene I really like. It says, it's not life and death for you. You're lucky it's not. But that doesn't mean you don't have the duty to be the best you can be. I'm like, okay, that's very good. That's a very Starfire moment. Well, that's a very mature Starfire moment, I feel like. So, he's like, you're going to take the test again, which I think, yeah, take those standardized tests even if you don't go to college. It's better. It makes things easier. It's just one of those things you got to do in high school. Anyway, so she gets, like she says, you're taking the test. He's like, no, I'm not. She pretty much throws a fit, runs away, this time for real, not just to her room, but like runs away. And, goes to this coffee shop. Her mother also goes to the coffee shop there, and she finds her. She's like, I didn't track you, but I just kind of came here to get some coffee before I was going to go out and look for you. He says, I don't want to hear some stupid speech. And then they get all angry. And, like, the lights are cutting off. And then, like, Starfire realizes what's going on. She's like, Mandy, he's like, get here now. She's like, no, I'm going to Lincoln, da-da-da. And Blackfire shows up and challenges her for some type of rite of ascension thing. So I'm like, okay, this is happening. The conflict feels kind of weird. I don't know. Anyway, so pretty much Starfire says, take me with you, so we're prepared for battle. And then they put her in this weird cube thing and they take them away. So, this is the part I really don't understand. There's some like interlude within the Link guy and the Claire guy, which, geez, this guy is tall. I just thought he was tall compared to Manny because he was short, but I don't know. Anyway, so, blah, blah. Starfire finally tells Mandy what happened and her origin and all that, and what her sister did to take the throne and banish her. It seems like in this dimension or timeline, Starfire escaped from slavery instead of being crash landing on Earth, but she escaped from slavery and fled to Earth. I'm like, well, how'd she know about Earth? I don't know. Anyway, so she had a child. Once again, they show Mandy as a baby, but they don't show who the father is, which I guess, okay, fine. I guess at this point won't make a difference. So there's some type of lacrosse game, and that's where Blackfire chooses to have the battle. I'm like, wouldn't it make more sense to take them back to Tamaran and then just kill them there? Or why a lacrosse field on Earth? Like, the Titans may not be on Earth, but there are other superhero teams. Like, the Justice League could be on Earth. And anyway, so Starfire breaks free of the bonds and says, listen, your battle's with me, and she's fighting her, and she pretty much tells Mandy to run away, and Mandy's watching this, and she's like, well, she runs away, and she realizes, when Mandy's running away, and he realizes, oh, she says she's tired because she's like running in armor, but I just think it's because she's fat, or overweight, whatever. Anyway, so she's watching her mother, who she's always fight to save millions, and she's fighting and she's actually losing, and she kind of freaks out and runs to her mom, and her mom almost knocked out, and pretty much Blackfire almost throws a spear at her, but it misses and only scratches his cheek. Then Blackfire grabs her and throws her a solid, how big are lacrosse fields? Another like soccer field length. Let's just say 50 feet, and she crashes into a goal. That should kill a normal person, so yeah, I guess enhance their abilities, their first power. So the crush says, "Don't give up," and through the power of love, she gets the star bolts. And this is the part of the graphic novel, that really upsets me. The reason Blackfire and Starfire have, well, powers is because they're both pretty much kidnapped at one point, and there's these, I can't remember their names. They're pretty much like these lizard scientists. And what they do is they pretty much run the Vega system. That's where Planet Tamaran is. So what they did is they found Blackfire and Starfire unconscious. They hooked them up to this machine and pumped them full of so much solar light, like solar energy, that they thought they would just explode, but instead they just started shooting out those beams. And that's why they have those powers, but no other Tamaranian has those powers. Like, every other Tamaranian can, fly and have super strength and enhanced speed and all that other stuff. But the Starbolts, those are unique to Blackfire and Starfire. But Mandy has them. And Mandy then is... Yeah, anyway. Like, Blackfire even says, "How is this possible?" But anyway, so she's able to beat Blackfire somehow, even though Blackfire's had almost 2 decades of experience with the Starbolts, and she's had less than 5 minutes. Whatever. It's almost done. So she's actually like throwing as much at her as she can, and I think she's like gonna she's gonna try to kill Blackfire, but her mother like gets back up and like stops her, and just pretty much then like once Blackfire gets back up, she like hits her in the head, knocks her out. They arrest her, all that good stuff. Anyway, so Mandy then like becomes kind of famous. She beat a supervillain in front of a bunch of people. And there's a video, and like now she's all happy, like in a way she never was before. So, pretty much Raven kind of teaches her, like kind of takes over her studying her. Raven becomes her tutor. I don't know why I didn't just say that. The word was literally right in front of me. Anyway, and Starfire is teaching her powers, and so blah blah blah. She meets up with the crush again, and then they kiss, and yeah. And she decides to go by name Mandy the Destroyer. There's a little bit more, but not. Yeah, no, I actually think that's the end. So, like I said, this book is just incredibly mediocre. Almost everything feels contrived. The characters are boring and their motivations are confusing. So, like I said earlier, Claire's a lot like Starfire in the sense that she has a very bubbly, outgoing personality. But, it's not like she's devoid of personality. And, yeah, honestly, Maddie takes everything way too personally. I'm like, yeah, 17-year-olds aren't exactly the most emotionally stable, but come on, get your crap together. I know that sounds harsh, but come on. Like, yeah, anyway. So, it's just like her being Blackfire. I feel like if she and Starfire teamed up, that would actually have been a better one, a better fight. But then again, this book's not about fighting scenes, it's about the melodrama. And Maddie's like upset about, upset about her mother being a superhero until she gets powers, then she's all happy. So it comes off as less that she's not relating to her mother and more as she's just jealous of her mother. Or not jealous, but just envious of her powers. And now that she has powers, she's happy. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's certainly one way for this to go. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like this book would have been 10 times more interesting if this was from Starfire's perspective. Like, oh, I can't really relate to my daughter and I wish I knew how. And like, maybe her trying to take a step back from the superhero work so she can try to better relate to her daughter. And honestly, I feel like 17's a bit too late. I don't know. Like, maybe make Maddie younger and then, like, I don't know. I mean, like, this is what I'm trying to say. Your mother's been a superhero your entire life. After a certain point, you're gonna have to accept that lifestyle, but it seems like she's resentful of it the entire time until she gets powers. Now, I just walked through the entire book, which is why it took me 25 minutes to get to this, but yeah, this book is just, like, the art's okay. I put it on like a kid's book or something. The writing's just fan fiction level, which, like, medium tier, like, medium high tier fan fiction. But, like, I would have this person do, well, not this story, or I would have maybe them change it up a bit. I don't know. Like I said, this whole maybe go from Starfire's perspective, and they never answer the question as who her dad is, which I feel like should be addressed because, like, if a kid has problems with one parent, they usually retreat to the other. But, like, they said they just never talk about it. I'm like, has it never come up? Because, like, Maddie doesn't seem like the type to bring up these type of questions, or maybe it hasn't. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point. The bottom line is, this book is just very mediocre. It's not bad enough to be bad and not good enough to be, well, anything else. Anyway, and at the end of it, there's a preview for this thing called Beast Boy Loves Raven. That looks mildly interesting. Maybe I'll check that out when it comes out. Anyway, yeah, those are pretty much my thoughts. I feel worse for Starfire throughout most of this book than I do for Mandy, even though I'm seeing this all from Mandy's perspective. She comes off as very, like, someone you wouldn't really want to talk to unless you had to talk to them. That's pretty much Mandy's personality, even after she gets the powers. But less so after she gets the powers. Anyway, I read this a few days ago and skimmed it today, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. For all those who are watching, this has been The Mysterious Mystery. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.